All right, all right. Hey, everybody, welcome to this special interview celebrating Trans Visibility Day with my dear friend, my man, Adrian, who's coming to us from Denver, Colorado.
See, close to there, yeah.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man.
You
It's
probably
been a
have
minute.
better sneakers on than I do.
No.
Yeah, I'm barefoot. So,
Oh yeah, I got some on.
all right, dude. So, hey, we're here to celebrate trans visibility. We were supposed to do this on Monday. But you were coming back from our hometown of El Paso, Texas.
I
You were,
sure was.
and so you went back home. We'll talk a little bit about that here in a bit. But more importantly, we're here to celebrate about living with integrity, dude. Spirit, soul, and body, right?
Right.
All the pieces of who we are coming together in joy and authenticity. You were along for the ride of my coming out process. You got to see it BCO before coming out
Yeah.
and after coming out. So you have had a unique seat in my life, and you've been on quite a journey with me.
It sure has. It sure has. And it's been a treat watching that because it only added to my growth. It only gave me more fucking how do you say, excuse my language, but it gave me more I gotta like more pride,
Mm.
like in myself. Like the love that you have for yourself is amazing. And I would like love to have that level of love, at some point because I believe that is the most important part of, any journey, really, is self-love.
Self-love, dude. Wow. So interesting because I'll go back to that. And I love that you said that. That's such a beautiful observation. And dude, what a compliment. But I'm curious. So when we were living at the shack, which is what I lovingly called my house on Wright Street there in El Paso, in central El Paso, real close to downtown. And I'm curious to know, like, you're such an intuitive person. And I remember you telling me about my aura and how muted it was back then. And I'm so, if we could, just for a minute, I'm just curious how you, because I can clearly remember the colors you told me, and I'll go to them in just a minute. But I'm curious what the aura shift has been as I came into that full self-love for me, for who I am, my beautiful God created self.
Ooh, that was the most beautiful transition. I mean, let me tell you. Um, I don't want to say it was like, cosmic rainbow, but it was one of those colors where the muted and like
They
the
were they were like a deep dark purple with some
yes,
black shadows, is what you told me
yes,
before I left.
it was a little muddied, as some people call it. People who are really into auras is kind of muddied. It was
Mhm.
really like it was just that like really deep purple, and it shifted to like this very clear, crisp kind of like I don't know, it's weird, but like a kind of like a greenish,
Mm.
it was weird. Like I was like I never thought I'd like witness that in my life,
Yeah,
but it was kind of rewarding, honestly. It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
I never thought somebody could clarify their aura with something as simple as you being yourself.
And coming into self-love, right?
Yeah, like it was amazing. Like
Love that. So
honestly,
you
your aura was the reason I thought I didn't like you from the beginning.
So, but it reminds me, and being me being a Leo and not trying to take center stage because this is supposed to be about you. Uh,
Yeah.
but for just a minute, I'm going to celebrate that win and celebrate that self-love and receive that love that you're giving me, and I receive that with all of my heart and thank you. But you also got to see me at my worst when I was in that muddy place, and you got to see some really outbursts of anger, some dark places that I came from that I have not visited. And it's interesting because, back in that day, I was trying to get you to go to church, and we went to church several times. And that was part of the journey, and it is what it is. But at that time, I remember, like, I've just been talking to friends about this, that I have felt like I came into a real born again experience when I came into
Mhm.
full integrity with myself, when I came into that joy of celebrating who I am and who God made me to be. And me being an openly gay man these days is a small aspect of who I am. It was just that missing puzzle that needed to be complete, spirit, soul, body. And so we're here to celebrate that about you. And so one of the questions I want to go to is what's bringing you joy today in your coming out and you adopting your masculine self?
Um, a sense of how can I put it? Welcoming and actual embrace. Like I
Would
work in a
would
very
it be
toxic and
would it be welcoming and embrace of that little boy that has always been inside you?
yes.
Is it
Yes.
celebrating that little boy?
Like that little boy is happy to be here.
Dude, I can see it in your smile. Like, dude, I remember like you rarely smiling. And back then, I knew you. We were introduced to each other by your dead name.
Yes.
And you initially didn't think that I was going to hire you, but there was a higher force, a higher power at work. And part of me was like, I cannot now not hire. And I was using your dead pronouns, right? Is that
Yeah.
the right way to say that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was using because that's how I was
Yeah.
introduced to you is, and you left my office that day downtown El Paso, and you're like, this way, this guy is not going to hire.
Yes. Yes. Like I didn't like you. Your aura is the reason I didn't like you, dude. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna even if he does, I'm not gonna get along with this fool.
I love it. All right. So fast forward, I did, but I remember being like introspectively was like, I cannot not hire him based upon, and I wasn't using your pronouns at that time, but based upon how you were dressed and how you were presenting, and with the name on there, I almost had to challenge my own um, bias, subconscious bias. And so that,
Right.
like, coming into that integrity and being like, that would be the most wrong reason. And I'm so glad that we connected and you eventually came to live with me for a season before moving to Denver. And we have some really special, like, really special times and timelines of you actually helping me move to Maine, driving the truck, being my transporter. And
Like I moved your
so
mama, I helped your brother.
But
Yeah.
the smile on your face speaks just a million words. And so you were about to tell me that some of your issues at work and some of the joy of embracing that inner boy inside of you. Most of your jobs have referred to you by your dead name. You've recently come into being fully accepted and treated as Adrian. And how has that shifted and what joy does that bring to you?
It like so my uncle passed away a couple weeks ago,
Who did?
and my uncle, the one who lived in Fabens,
Okay.
and I had to go with family. And as you may remember, my mom's side of the family is, some else.
Religious.
Not necessarily my dad's side is, but my mom's side, it's they don't care. Whatever age I matured at in their eyes, that's where it's at. That's nothing's gonna change. Like that's it. So, being in that environment and then coming back to work or just wanting to come back to work, made me realize how much of a better person and just feeling great. I mean, I've
Mm,
never felt like this. Like
mm.
it's like my little boy is happy to wake up and is ready to go to work, even though he's still like not understanding certain things, but he's just happy. Like that's
And
just a
you've
happiness
battled,
I never had.
yeah, you've battled some serious depression and anxiety. And so what I'm hearing you telling me is the simplicity of somebody honoring and calling you by your chosen name with your chosen pronouns of who you are within inside of you
Yep.
has made this dynamic change and difference.
Oh yeah.
And
It's
so,
huge.
culturally, we're having these cultural battles where people are saying, well, you can't force me to call you what you're not. And to love you is to tell you the truth. And to love you is to honor who God made you to be. What would you tell people who have that belief system? What is so for me, I can tell you that there felt like a death by a thousand cuts every time I denied and I was ashamed of who God made me to be. And that was just a slow grade depression. You battled with real depression because of people trying to continuously force you into who you are not. But just speak a little bit about that in the sense of how liberating that is. And what do you tell people that the smallest act of kindness by just referring to you as Adrian and how that makes you feel and how that validates you?
It just it's something it's just I've always said it's the simple things in life. Um and that's how I really know how much of a person you are going to be with me. You know
Mm,
what I mean? Because if there's people that actually respect it, then, I learned those are the people to keep in my corner.
yeah,
Everybody has a right to their beliefs. I'm not going to change it. I'm not here to change anything.
right.
You believe what you want to believe. I'm
Yeah,
not going to change that from you. But that's why I come to you and I say, "Hey, my name is Adrian. How you doing?"
right. So there's this thought process of because there's people in your life that have chosen not to do that, and you have chosen to distance yourself from them. You haven't removed yourself from them completely, but you do distance yourself. You've set up healthy boundaries
Mhm.
to protect your space. Is that true?
Yep. Oh yeah.
So with that understanding, there's the adage that you will know them, you will know they are Christians by their love. And so you have this gift of attracting evangelical Christians to you everywhere you go.
Oh, dude.
And they tend to give you little tracts and whatnot and try to save your soul. For people who are of the Christian faith who know you and know your story. I'm not talking about people you meet on the street and who don't know you from your dead name to your new name because they accept you for who you present. But
Mhm.
people who come from a religious background and choose to refer to you by your dead name, how does that make you feel? And how does that I understand what you're saying about not trying to change them, but is that do you feel loved by them when they do that?
Mhm. No, I learned that levels of respect between people are never gonna be changed. So I've learned to accept because it's exhausting
Mm.
trying to correct a simple mind because that's what they were taught or that's their beliefs, like it's exhausting. And I am all for who I am, and I'm proud to be trans no matter what. But there comes a time where you will learn that arguing with stupid will get you nowhere.
Yeah, it's a beautiful way of doing that. I love that, dude. So trans visibility is about being seen for who we truly are, not just surviving, but thriving. And dude, I am
Yeah.
just so happy to see where you are today and that you are thriving. You're working in a place and work that you love to do. You're working in a place that values you for who you are, respects you for who you are. And in that small act of kindness of just giving you a name tag with the name Adrian, has set you free and has put this incredible kick in your step. When you look back at the younger Adrian, um, and maybe the younger Adrian, you and I have shared stories about you being forced to go to Catholic Mass in a pink dress. And when given the opportunity, as young as 4 year old, I've seen pictures of you in polo shirts, khakis, and boots. And so the question is, when you look back at whether that particular part of your life or any part of your timeline as your younger self, what do you wish he could have known about the life you would be having right now? Or the life you are living, the thriving part?
just just be patient, man.
Mm.
Just be patient, because the work you're doing and just the innocence you have now, just keep it.
And
Just patiently
I,
wait.
I'm believing this gets to the right people. Like, I don't care how many clicks this get. I don't care. Like, I just want this to get to the right people. And I'm hoping that this gets to that little boy born in a girl's body or that little girl born in a boy's body, and that those words that you just spoke would breathe some hope and resilience into their little soul and get them to keep going one step at a time and to have that patience to know that there is light at the end of the tunnel and there is hope of becoming fully integrated. So, what would you say would be a moment in your journey that made you feel, oh, yeah, this is me? I know you talked about being validated at work. Is there any other opportunities? I know you and I have celebrated so much in our lives, and we have a love for going to barbers. Was it a haircut? Was it a name? Was it a pronoun? I know you have. We have all these shared stories, but for the sake of our viewers today, what do you think is one of those? Oh yeah, that's me moments.
You're gonna laugh at this, but this is where I didn't really understand the trans thing, but there is this one time where I finally felt accepted by you, and like we were doing well, it was the autopods, I think.
So the autopods are these little chariots in a Mork and Mindy egg-like fashion, but it's a pedicab, and we call them autopods. So go ahead.
And we were just trying to like sell the autopod. Like we went to the A loft and different. But
So
like I dressed up in the most thing I felt comfortable in, the most thing that I knew would sell the product. And
yeah,
like, what did I have? I don't remember if I had a tie, but I had a bow tie or something like that. And I had my vest, like I had my button up. And like your face. Your
wow.
face had actually like I don't know if it was like a smile of like acceptance or like a smile of like
It was an I see you as
yes,
as this
yes,
dapper chauffeur, and I remember saying, "Dang, dude, look at you."
yes. Like it, like that right there was the biggest confirmation, because it was around that time that I was still trying to understand the whole trans thing. Cause
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
I was always labeled as like butch lesbian, but like it just didn't feel right
Hmm.
until I learned about being trans and I started, kind of getting some more information.
Hmm.
And like around it was around that time frame because that's when I had already, gone and come back from Colorado and saw the diversity here in Colorado and how different it was here.
Hmm. The openness and
So
acceptedness and the government assisting you.
yeah. Yeah. So it like that little smile, that like simple phrase of acceptance,
Validation.
yes, made me realize like, hey, I can be this person I feel inside. I
Wow.
need to stop
Wow.
hiding it.
Oof. Thank you for sharing that. So a lot of trans men and women describe the feeling of being in their body, um, and being able to present when they own their true selves in their masculinity or in their femininity, that it's like a radio finally tuning in from static to clarity. Um, when you and I kind of talked about that, you kind of had this like red light moment, this epiphany when I said that. How did that shift feel for you, and how did that language resonate with you?
It was kind of weird because I never thought it'd be from a boss. But it felt very foreign because I never felt that. Like it was just I didn't know how to accept it in the beginning. Like it just felt weird and there goes my overthinking and I started, thinking all these other scenarios and I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. I don't know. But through time and learning about it and me catching on to your facade just
Because
made me kind of like,
so I got to tell you, I was pretty convincing because I like casted a lot of doubt into you, and
dude,
there were people who asked you,
oh, dude.
"Is he gay?" And you were like, "What would you answer?"
Like, dude, I don't know, but he's very metro.
You're like, "No, I think he's just a church boy,"
Yes, like,
which was a
dude,
beautiful facade to put on.
like the whole church boy is what sold it. Cause I'm like, there's no way he's a church. Like how involved he is, there's no way. There's no
Well,
way.
you lived with me. Like you saw me behind the scenes, and you didn't really see the gay rainbow.
No, but it just like you'd see the little glitter trail
A
pop from
little
time to time.
outburst of it
Yes,
trying to
like
come out. I love it.
yeah, you'd
Um,
see it, and I'm like, huh, really? Hmm.
I love it. I love it. So, a couple other questions. What advice would you give other people who identify as trans or feel trans or are questioning that may be struggling with the anxiety, the depression, and the self-doubt, that overthinking? Um, what would you give them as words of hope?
If you feel it, let it out. If it doesn't feel good, then maybe it's not.
Hmm.
But you have to try. Like you gotta jump. It's like in every aspect of life. When
Yeah.
it feels scary, jump.
I love that. So you've seen a lot of my videos. You know my friend John here in Maine,
Mhm.
and you've seen us jumping off of Chandler's Wharf. And that first
Yeah.
um, that I jumped off of Chandler's Wharf into the ocean, I think it took me 35 to 40 minutes to get the courage to just jump. And now I can go out and jump without hesitation. So as
Yeah.
simple as putting a guy's t-shirt on, as simple as putting a hat on, trying it on and not being attached to anything is the beauty of it. And what does that make you feel when you do that? So I know when we've gone to restaurants and hosts or waiters or whoever are like, hey guys, let me have you sit right over here. And so that for me is a joy when they see you and just and they identify you with your masculine being, with who you are by your name. And what a small act of kindness, what a small thing to do for somebody, to be respectful and to and yeah, it may be a phase for someone, and yeah, they may not resonate, and yes, they may not, it may be a season for them, and then they realize that that's not them, or it didn't fit. How would you add to that thought process?
Um, just just let it out, man. Just let it all hang out.
I
Like
love it.
we have to try. We have to try, man. Like
Yeah.
we can't live with the what ifs.
So this brings to another point that I want to highlight here real quickly is that you and I have gone into men's bathroom together.
Hmm.
And so if you walked into a women's bathroom the way who you are and how you dress, and like, don't you think that would cause more consternation than us two, or even by yourself? Like, it just seems so silly that that the religious right, evangelical people are trying to force people like you into a box, into a bathroom that you don't belong in. And so I've always felt like I was a circle being trying to be forced into a square box. How do you resonate with any and all of that and the debate over bathroom usage,
I've I've had a pretty lucky
life experience?
appearance. Yeah, like I've had a pretty lucky experience to where
Or did you say appearance?
appearance
Got it.
to where I've always fit the role. I even if you talk to my homies, like they'll
So
tell you like
what you're saying is your body type was just naturally more of a masculine build.
yeah, like I always fit in with the boys. Like
Yeah,
they'll tell you straight out like you've
right.
always been one of the boys. And I'm like, exactly. Like I've never changed anything. Like, that
Mhm.
is something I had to learn that I didn't change anything. I've always
Yeah.
been the same. The only difference is my voice and facial hair. Everything else has been the same.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to
if
recount one of your. So you didn't know you were outside on a Sunday morning and you were dancing away like nobody was watching. And you were getting ready to do what most male men in El Paso, Texas do on a Sunday, right? This very Tex-Mex Chicano Sunday is to wash your car, right? Like people,
oldies, man,
Latinos love washing their cars.
see you
And
watching.
say that again.
See you watching. No Mexicans coming out of you, man.
And so I was just sitting there observing you dancing away, getting your buckets ready. And it was the most natural thing to see you in your perfect element of just doing what we would consider very masculine male Chicano things to do on a Sunday.
Yeah, like it just I might have been raised by women, but I picked up a lot on what my male figures did. Like
Because you
it. I just
resonated with
what was that?
you resonated more with them.
Yeah, like it fit more. It especially like this one time when I was really a church person. Once upon a time, um, we were still building the church, and I wanted to help. I took my hammer, I had my hammer and, good to go. And when I wanted to help, the pastor was like, No, you can go help the ladies in the kitchen.
Oh. Ah.
So it's like, oh, well, that sucked. So like,
You like
like that, but
I see you like dropping your head and walking back in utter disappointment.
I did. I went to go put my hammer in the truck, and I played in the dirt. Like I was like, I don't want to be in the kitchen. I don't even know how to cook. Like, what am I supposed to do in there?
But you have learned to cook and you make some amazing food and you do it with such joy. We've had some good times making meals together. Kind
Yes,
of bringing
sir.
this to a close, if you could send a message to your future you, say 5 to 20 years from now, what would you want to remind him about who you are today?
You're the chingon you've always meant to be.
Hmm. Yes and amen.
Like, like doesn't matter what life will put in front of you. You got it, man.
What's pretty amazing is that you've had the opportunity like me because we don't have kids of our own, but you like me have had the opportunity to mentor and to be an uncle to many people. Um, and you have that father-like spirit. You have that ability to teach people and to bring them aside and to be a mentor. And so I encourage you to continue to look for those outlets as you get into those 40s and 50s, that you would continue to mentor boys. And um, I just, that's what I see in your future, is that fathering spirit. And so never lose hope of that. So let's manifest something great, man. Let's talk about a dream or a goal that you're excited to step into, and what could that be right now if it's something that you can share?
It would have to be my name change because I have the appearance. I finally have the voice. Like the name, it just throws everybody off. And
So you're talking about legally,
yeah,
and you currently your license has your dead name.
yeah.
Okay, dude, I am going to deem that into the heavens and join you in that. And we're going to do a follow up when that happens and celebrate that milestone for you. There is a lot going on in the world right now, but we are going to resist that
Yeah.
fight against you being able to do that and changing your marker and identifying with your correct chosen name. And I just, man, you've just been such a light in my life. And I just thank you for sharing your story this week with me, with us, and those who I hope will reach and be a joy and a light to them, and a seed of hope, and cause it to be a turning point in their life. And so for everybody watching, trans joy is real. We have seen the smile on Adrian's face. It is authentic. It is beautiful. I want to say that trans people are whole. They're holy, and we validate you, Adrian. We celebrate you and all you are. So keep showing up for yourself and each other. Lots of love, my brother. Can't wait to see you here in Maine this summer.
Yes, sir. I'm excited for that trip. I appreciate everything too, man. If it weren't for you, I don't know where I'd be, honestly. You're the one that gave me that good boot, and you pushed me to be who I am today. And honestly, I do appreciate everything and all, dude, from the bottom of my heart.
Dude, you're such a gem. And likewise, we had this amazing journey together, and we get to see each other's love and light in our full manifestation. So can't wait to give you a hug. We'll see you soon.
Sounds good, man.
Love you, man.
Love you too.